Canto 3, Chapter 14, Text 25. Smashana chakranila dhuli dhumra vikirna vidyota jata kalapa bhasma vaguntha malarukma deho devastrivihi pashyati devaraste. Displayed there, so nobody is going to chant. If it is not displayed, you must write on the board. That's a system. Everybody should chant the shloka. Smashana, burning crematorium. Chakra anila, whirlwind. Dhuli, dust. Dhumra, smoky. Vikirna, vidyota, the smeared over beauty. Jata kalapaha, bunches of matted hair. Bhasma, ashes. Avagunta, covered by. Amala, stainless. Tribihi, three eyes. Pashyati, sees. Devaraha, younger brother of the husband. They, your. Translation. Lord Shiva's body is reddish and is unstained, but is covered with ashes. His hair is dusty from the whirlwind dust of the burning crematorium. He is the younger brother of your husband, and he sees with his three eyes. Purport: Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living entity, nor is he in the category of Vishnu or the Supreme Personality of God. He is far more powerful than any living entity up to the standard of Brahma. Yet he is not on an equal vision or equal level with Vishnu. Since he is almost like Lord Vishnu, Shiva can see past, present and future. One of his eyes is like the sun, another is like the moon, and his third eye, which is in between his eyebrows, is like fire. He can generate fire from his middle eye, and he is able to vanquish any powerful living entity, including Brahma. Yet he does not live pompously in a nice house, etc., nor does he possess any material properties, although he is the master of the material world. He lives mostly in the crematorium, where dead bodies are burnt, and the whirlwind dust of the crematorium is his bodily ashes, bodily dress. He is unstained by material contamination. Kashyapa took him as his younger brother because the youngest sister of Diti, Kashyapa's wife, was married to Lord Shiva. The husband of one's sister is considered one's brother by that social relationship. Lord Shiva happened to be the younger brother of Kashyapa. Kashyapa warned his wife that because the Lord Shiva would see their sex indulgence, the time was not appropriate. Diti might argue that they would enjoy sex life in a private place, but Kashyapa reminded her that Lord Shiva has three eyes called the sun, moon and fire, and one cannot escape his vigilance any more than one can escape Vishnu. Although seen by the police, a criminal is sometimes not immediately punished. The police wait for the proper time to apprehend him. The forbidden time for sexual intercourse would be noted by Lord Shiva, and Diti would meet with proper punishment by giving birth to a child of ghostly character or a godless impersonalist. Kashyapa foresaw this, and thus he warned his wife, Diti. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kata Mahyam Dadati Swapadhantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tan Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitansha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamy Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Veshadarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today is Mahashivaratri, I understand that's why this shloka has been given to me to speak on. I'm not prepared for it, but whatever Krishna inspires me from within the heart. Kshiram yata dadi vikhara visesha yogat sanjayate nahitata pratagasti heto yes sambhutam abhidata samupaiti karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Brahma is praying. This is a shloka from the Brahma Samhita. He is praying to the Supreme Lord Govinda. Kshiram yata dadi vikhara. Vikhara means transformation. Kshira means milk. Kshiram yata dadi. Dadi means yogurt. What in Tamil you say? Thair. Dadi vikara visesha yogat. That milk turns into curd. So, if somebody asks you, is the milk and curd the same? In one sense, they are the same. It's the same. But are they different? You'll say, yeah, they're different. Why? It tastes very different. It tastes very completely opposite to each other. One is sour and the other one could be very nice tasting. But still they are the same. They're same because it's the milk that is transformed into curd. But they're still different because by taste, by properties, they're different. In this way, Lord Shiva, the Brahma is saying, Kshiram yata dadi vikara visesha yoga sanjayate nahi tata pratagasti heto. Heto means the cause. Yes sambhutam. Sambhu means Lord Shiva. Samupaiti karyat. So in this way, see, when you see the cause and the effect, when you also see the effect in the cause, that is a difficult philosophy for most people to understand. Actually, things are not black and white. They are also grey. In the material world, we are struck by dualities. Ichchadvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata. Dvandva means two. Binaries. Dvandva moha, the illusion of the binary. The illusion of duality. Dvandva mohena bharata. Everybody is overcome by binary illusion. If it's light, it has to be dark. If it is daytime, it has to be nighttime. If it is one, it is two. If it is tall, it is short. It is black, it is white. We live by binaries in this world. Even if you program in the computer, it's all about 1 and 0. It's binary. So, it's a moha. There is something transcendental to this, beyond the binary. So God, the Supreme Person, the Absolute Truth, is described like that. Janmadhyasya, from whom everything comes, both the material and the spiritual. So that Supreme Personality, He transforms. Vikara, Visesha Yoga. And He transforms into a particular form. And that form is very special form. It is not like one of the 33 crores of devatas and demigods. although classified like that. That tattva, Shiva tattva, it's a truth in itself. Like Vishnu tattva, Shiva tattva, then Maya tattva. Krishna's material energy is a tattva. So Lord Shiva takes that role and position. So he is actually the absolute supreme, transformed in a particular way for a particular function in this world. For a particular function in this world. What is that function? Actually, most people don't know these technical details. There are so many demigods or devatas. Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, Agni, all of them together. Each one of them are departmental heads. Chandra, moon. Surya, the sun. Agni, fire. These are all personalities occupying a particular position for a period of time of one manvantara. Right? That's the description given. Our lifetime, it is very, very huge span. Because of that, it's almost like they're deathless. That's why they're called Amara. Amara, they don't die. Because their span is so huge of lifetime. Just like for an ant, it hardly maybe lives for 1 day or 1.5 days, or maybe even less than that, I don't know. Compared to that, your lifespan is very huge, isn't it? In the same way, everybody's lifespan is one inside the other. So, the devatas live for very long lifespans, but they die in the end. They wind up. And the name given to them is the name of their position. It's not the name of the person. Agni means it's the name of the position. It's like cabinet minister, home minister means. It's not the name of that person. That keeps changing. Person keeps changing. The person keeps changing. Post remains the same. So in our lifetime, Agni will remain the same because we have very small lifetimes. But those who have very large lifetimes, like the Devas, they will see changing within their lifetimes. So one Agni, one home minister went, he came back, another home minister got elected and came back. We see that within our lifetime. Like that they see that Devas change, but our lifetime is so minuscule compared to theirs. So continuously we'll be born so many times, we'll see the same Agni. We'll see the same Agni occupying the position. Therefore, in our mind, we think Agni is permanent. But we are very small. And that is a description Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita. Sahasra yuga pariyantam haryat brahmano viduhu. He takes out and calculates the life of Brahma and shows us how small you and me could be. Right? So, Lord Shiva is not like one of the demigods, those he's classified as in that. He's a tattva in himself. He doesn't die. He's a tattva, a truth, eternal. This is one important point to note. And then the creation of the universe occurs. Universes and the whole material creation occurs. There again, the Lord, you will see in the Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned that Aham Bija Pradapita. I am the seed-giving father, Krishna is declaring. And he's saying that Garbham Dadamyaham, in the womb of material nature, I impregnate and I release souls, living entities. They are born from material nature. They are born from material nature. They come out in various shapes and sizes according to their past karma and their desires. Guna and karma. They come out in various shapes and sizes. Means they take up different types of bodies. There are 84 lakh species of life listed in the Padma Purana. So you can take any one of those bodies according to your karmas. And you can come out in a particular shape and size. You could be a bird in the Arctic. You could be a whale in the sea. You could be an ant somewhere. You could be a mongoose. You could be this. You could be that. You could be anybody, Mark Zuckerberg. You could be a demigod. All of them are different types of bodies, including the Devatas. But Lord Shiva is distinctly different. At the same time, he is not the Supreme Vishnu. It says here. Vishnu Tattva is different, Shiva Tattva is different, and then this Tattvas are different. So there is a meaning to each type of these truths, irreducibles, to put it in technical terms. Everything is coming from Janmadhyasya Yada Anvaya Itaratas Swarat. From the Supreme Lord, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That is mentioned very clearly in the scriptures in the Bhagavad Gita also. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattas sarvam pravartate iti matva vajate maam buddhabhava samandita. Everything material and spiritual is emanating from me. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti. I am quoting these shlokas. I know it may be Greek and Latin sometimes for some people. But this is for authenticity. I am not willy-nilly saying something out of my head. It's for authenticity. That is mentioned in the Vedas. This is mentioned. So, everything emanating from the Supreme Absolute Truth, whom we know as Vishnu when he manifests inside the material world as a person. That Lord Shiva helps Vishnu to create. He becomes the agency of impregnation. That is what you see the Shivalinga. People don't understand. Jai Jagannath Baladev Shubhadramaki. When you see the Shivalinga, the phallic symbol, and the yoni, which is worshipped, people think, wow, Indians are exotic, man. They do all these amazing things. They don't understand what it really means. Why is he worshipped like that? So what it signifies is Vishnu, when he has to impregnate material nature, he has an agency. It doesn't directly do it. That agency is Lord Shiva. It's through Lord Shiva that impregnation occurs inside the womb of material nature. That material nature is manifested in person as Parvati, Devi. And Lord Shiva is that supreme material master. That's why both of them are considered to be the parents of the whole universe. Because all living entities are sent through the agency of Lord Shiva. So that is declared by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Tasmin garbham dadami aham. Dadami, I give the seed. The seed are all the living entities, all the souls. I impregnate material nature. That is a macro form of activity, which in the material world happens in a micro form amongst various living entities. Creation also is there. You actually have an intercourse with a male, female together, and they produce a living entity. This is exactly the micro version of the macro performance. What's the macro performance? Krishna is saying that Tasmin, what is the shloka? Sarva Bhuta, I forget the first line. Tasmin Garbham Dadami Aham Sambhavanti. He is declaring that I impregnate material nature with living entities. So in the Upanishads also it's mentioned Sa Aikshata. He glances at material nature and material nature gets impregnated. It's very sophisticated impregnation. He does very high class impregnation. Okay? Not in a gross manner that we go around do it and we get addicted to that little sense of enjoyment that we get out of it and we make something else big out of it. It is meant for reproduction, but it's become something completely different. But that is the original performance. That agency is Lord Shiva. So he becomes the agency. That is why Kshiram Yata Tadikara Viseshi Yoga. Because the Supreme Absolute Truth will not directly interface with matter. Shadow potency. Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vipatti Durga. That shadow potency is Durga, is material shadow potency. And through the agency of his transformation, Vikara, Sambhu, as Lord Shiva, he contacts material nature. That's what you see Shivalinga. It's the real exotic, real meaning of what it means. So Lord Shiva performs this service for the Supreme Absolute Personality. And he becomes the father of the universe. That's why he is worshipped as a father. Mother Durga, who delivers through the action of material nature so many living entities. All this is a huge manufacturing unit. And it's controlled by immense powerful softwares. It happens automatically. It's not that only you found out what's the software and programming and everything and you call it all that. All the that it is not what you think it is. Involuntarily you are also saying it. Whether it's Chat GPT or anything, these are all embedded intelligences. These are, that's why it's called artificial intelligence. Unbeknownst to you, you call it artificial. Then the question is, where is real intelligence then? If you have termed that AI, where is RI? Where is RI? That is the origin. That is what is the absolute intelligence. So that's another topic anyway. But Lord Shiva does the interface between the Supreme Absolute and material nature, dull material nature. He becomes the interface. He carries the living entities, impregnates material nature. And then the living entities come out of material nature in shapes and sizes. This is the role of Lord Shiva. A very highly personal role in the creation of the whole universe and in the birth of all the living entities. I can corroborate all this with more shlokas, but I don't want to beat you black and blue with sense more shlokas. If we want to understand a basic, today is Mahashivaratri. So in one sense, like Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport here, he is saying he is not Vishnu, but still almost as good as Vishnu. But at the same time, he is not an ordinary living entity. Jiva Tattva, Shiva Tattva, Vishnu Tattva, Shakti Tattva. This is philosophy. You must understand ontological, what do you say, existential, ontological meaning and being. In that sense, you should understand technically. The philosophy is very wonderfully explained by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, though in small, pithy statements. So we must understand these tattvas properly. So Lord Shiva plays that role and therefore he is a truth in himself, an existential truth. He is personified as Shiva. Very powerful. So his characteristics are described, although here his physical characteristics is described by Kashyapa Muni to his wife. And the situation here is something else. Diti has become very disturbed because she's not getting a child. And she's seeing her other counterparts having children. These are all Prajapatis meant to populate the universe. That's their work. And so they're eager to do it. And she's seeing others getting pregnant, my sisters, my other, this and all. I am not, is happening to me. So she becomes very eager. There's a whole story, we won't go into it. And so she approaches her husband during dusk, Sandhi time, and tells you should, associate with me now and we will produce children. He's in a meditation and he tells that this is not the right time for doing this. Because at this time, Lord Shiva is roaming around with his associates. And who are Lord Shiva's associates? There are ghosts, goblins, bhutas, pisachas, pretas, and all of them. Why? He has such a following. He is very merciful to all of them. He is very kind to all of them. He wants all of them spiritually elevated. So he specially gives them shelter. And they find him very comfortable with him. He is very tolerant, he is very patient, they do all sorts of crazy things. And he tolerates them. So they feel happy with him and they follow him. So he takes a round during dusk on his buffalo. And they are all following him. And anywhere anybody is doing anything adharmic, improper, they get stuck at that time. Because he manages that time. So what happens at that time? He's telling that this is not the time because Lord Shiva is like this, he's got 3 eyes, he's like this, like this, like this, he's moving around at that time. If you do it, you'll be finished. You will never get good offspring. You will not get good offspring. So it's a matter of concern. It's a matter of deep concern. But she's not able to control herself because she's come prepared. So it's mentioned that somehow he acquiesces or he agrees. And this act happens then at the dusk time. That is how, after it's over, he'll come and tell you will become the mother of 2 horrible kids. They will shake the whole world and they are demons of the highest order. They will be ghostly kids, will be this, that, everything. That's the story in which Shiva is poised and posited here. So he is telling, Kashyapa is telling, Lord Shiva is like my brother. Because Diti's youngest sister, Sati, is married to Lord Shiva. So he says, I know him only too well. And this is what will happen. If you don't, it's what will happen because it's already done. You're going to get 2 horrible kids. They had turned out to be Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So then he's describing Lord Shiva. It's not a good thing to do at this time because he moves around at this time. During twilight, during Sandhi, during dusk, that's the time when people light lamps at home and draw the Lord inside, they offer prayers, they offer arati, everything. Why? So at that time is a dangerous time to do everything else. The whole atmosphere, the ecosystem is charged with a different vibration. So that's why people, there'll be Sandhyarati in almost everybody's house. Especially the Brahmins' houses and everything. In the evening they'll take bath, they will show a lamp to this thing, bring it inside, and then they will have arati in the home, and all that, they will read Ramayana, Mahabharata and all that thing. And that whole half an hour, 45 minutes will pass like that. That's what he's supposed to do at that time. That's not the time for him to strike a deed or a business. It will be screwed up in some way or the other. Because this indicates when Kashyapa and the Viti did this and this sort of thing happened, any type of auspicious activity normally is not done at that time. Only thing you should do is to catch hold of the absolute truth. And that's why you chant the holy name of Krishna, you do Kirtan, you do Arati, you see the Lord, you read Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavatham. That's what is done. But in the world outside, they will be drunk at that time, they will just opening up and making their debut for the night. They will be taking a few pegs and saying, let's deal with the great contracts, millions. And they clink, cheers, and they start off in the Sandhi time. Most inauspicious. The world starts its activity at Sandhi and goes on till night, 2 o'clock in the night. They go to sleep at 2. They go to sleep at 2. In some places, the whole night is the day. I was in that world famous place, Pattaya beach, where our devotees did this thing, and they told me, whole day will be on dead. Nobody's actually sleeping. All the hotels and all very minimal. And we were walking around, I was saying, what do you want to show me? Nothing much. Everything comes alive in the evening, Maharaj. I said, is it so? Okay, let's strip it off a little bit. And we took nice prashadam and we spoke about it and went to rest. And then this evening we'll do Nagar Kirtan. We went outside, my gosh, what's happened? Everything turned out to be like, I never saw these things in the morning because it was not lit up, Maharaj. It was all lit up and it's become a completely different city in the night. They took me on top of a mountain top and showed, see, this It's glowing. There's a halo around the whole place. And lots of vehicles moving and laughing and partying and everything starts. Goes on till night. In the early morning, 6 o'clock, when we were up from Maharaj chanting, people are going back home. They're going back home and the city is gone to sleep. So, Bhagavad states that what is night for the sadhu is day for this materials like that. What's the shloka? Nobody knows them. All Bhakti Shastri students. Ya nisha sarvabhutanam yasyam jagrati samyami. That shloka. So this way, night is day and day is night. Stops eternally. But in normal civilized life, people don't live like that. They do the right things at the right time. That's proper, good for your health, good for your body, good for your thinking, good for your spiritual life, everything together. So here, Kashyapa warned her, she did not listen, and then she's going to become the mother of people like this. Saintly, and he will set everything right. Maybe Kashyapa's son, this way she gets some little grace. That is a conversation here. And Lord Shiva is glorified and spoken about in terms. I am just clarifying that many people have these questions. Is Lord Shiva also a demigod? Why can't we worship Lord Shiva? You said Lord Shiva is like this, like that, and all that. Definitely you can worship Lord Shiva and get Lord Shiva's blessings. But you have also to be sure what you're worshipping, whom you're worshipping, why you're worshipping. All these things are also important for you to know. Today is Shivaratri, so we ask our blessings and seek blessings from Lord Shiva, that he may bless us with understanding and knowledge of the absolute truth. So Lord Shiva is very kind. He is known as Asutosh. He is pleased very easily. Sometimes the demons take advantage of that, the fact that he is pleased easily, and therefore they do certain things in certain ways. But we understand that by pleasing Lord Shiva in serving Krishna, he gets more pleased and he can bless you. This instance is very nicely seen in the life of Markandeya Rishi. Bhagavatham 12th canto describes that. How Markandeya Rishi, I don't know whether that Markandeya Rishi is the same as Markandeya, Chiranjeevi Markandeya. Do you know that? Yeah. They're same? Have you verified it? Have you verified it? You know that famous story of Markandeya holding the Shivalinga and Yamaraj does not come, is not able to take him out. Same. So that same Markandeya, who was a great devotee of Lord Shiva in his younger days, and he's Chiranjeevi Markandeya. You know that story? He's the only son of the parents and they need to look after him. He needs to look after them, and there's a condition that he will die when he's 16 years old or something like that. And since he wants to look after his parents, he will hold Lord Shiva's linga, and Yamaraj will not be able to take him off. And seeing that, finally he will award him Chiranjeevi, will be for living forever. So you will see that in the 12th canto, Markandeya Rishi is become a devotee of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And Lord Shiva is meeting him. And he's asking for a boon. And Markandeya is saying that, forget the shloka, Pranamekam Tatapi Purnat Kama Vivashanat. You are Varamekam Pranayatapi Purnat Karma Vivashanat. What is it? Tatatvayi. I forget that. He's asking from Lord Shiva, you are able to give so many boons to satisfy people's desires. Purna Kama Vivarshana. I ask you only of one boon which you possess, that I should be a devotee of Achyuta, just like you. Tat Preshu Tata Toyi, like you. I should also be a, focused devotee in Bhakti of Achyuta. This is the boon you can give me. So saying Markandeya, if it is true, who was a great devotee of Lord Shiva, is now asking Lord Shiva, you make me a devotee of Achyuta, an unstinted, unalloyed devotee. And Lord Shiva blesses Markandeya Rishi. And Markandeya Rishi becomes such a great devotee that he sees the Lord in his meditation and he asks the Lord that I want to see your Maya Shakti. And he's shown the Lord's Maya Shakti. And if you go to Jagannath Puri, you will see that place where he saw the Lord on a people leaf, sucking his thumb, means sucking his big toe. A very beautiful form he saw. That is very nicely described. That Angulipyam, Panipyam, Unniya, he sees the form of the Lord sucking his feet and sucking the big thumb, big toe. Unniya Charanambujam, very beautiful looking, on a people leaf floating in the waters of the Praya. So he goes and he gets consumed and goes inside Krishna. that island where he saw, that's what is the Nilachal place. You will see inside the temple there's a place showing that. There is one tree and all that. So Lord Shiva will grant pure asking that. So today is the day we can ask Lord Shiva for his blessings. And since he is very dear to devotees, and since he also likes devotees very much, it's a good day for us to dedicate Kirtan and dedicate prayers to Lord Shiva. Om Tat Sat. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatham ki, Mahashivaratri ki, Nittai Guru Vande.